Welcome back, everyone, after what probably seems like forever. Well, I don't even know when I'm going to upload this one yet. But anyway, look, I have stuff. I've got butt connectors, I've got my M unit, extra wiring, I've got these connectors, I've got these connectors, I've got this wiring, I've got heat shrink, I've got my ferrule clamp thingy. Yeah, I've got loads of stuff. So back to what I was saying about what I was going to do with this plate. So basically, where is it? The old solenoid is pretty manky. I didn't want to reuse this one. They're not expensive, but it comes with this little rubber. I don't know what this is. Like a mount, I guess. Same thing with the ignition box. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Igniter box. That comes with like this rubber mount bracket thing. So what I'm going to do is the sides of the E-tank. I've done this one already, and basically what I've done is I've trimmed off a piece of that aluminium here, and what that does here is just basically sits. That will allow that to slot on there, so that can be seated properly on the side of the tank here. So basically sit on the inside here, you know, mounted pretty securely there, so it's not going to flop about me rattling about inside there. I don't want that. The Motogadget just happens to be the same width on the bolt heads across here, so I'm going to get some longer bolts for this, and then that will also fix the Motogadget unit in there. And then on the opposite side, I am going to make another one of these, but obviously this is much larger, so I think what I'm going to do is try and make it so it can come out and sit in that orientation. So I might have to do a little bit of trimming of this. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet. I just need to figure it out first. But yeah, and then I've just epoxy adhesive that to there. This one I need to figure out how I'm going to mount this, because obviously it needs to fix to the face of this and come up and go up again, so I might have to figure that one out in a second. But essentially that's what I've done here. That will allow the new solenoid to sit in there nicely, and same with the igniter box. That's going to sit somewhere. Figure that one out. And then I also have, so that's the new solenoid, much nicer than the old manky one. I also have the switches, so I need to take the E-tank off and drill a small hole. So this is going to act as my kill switch, basically. Okay, so this is where I'm at the minute. I haven't started wiring up this yet. I'm fitting some new connectors. This is to go onto the solenoid, so that's just a regulator rectifier. I haven't touched any of the wiring from the fan or the what they called, the ignition timing coils in there. The coils are still hanging here. They're not actually connected yet. All I've done is I've connected the positive and the negative on the battery. Positive going to the battery side of the solenoid, and then the negative goes from actually the negative doesn't even go to the solenoid. From the negative here it goes to the starter motor, then from the starter motor is a ground which goes to the negative. So once this is all wired up to the M unit and stuff, the starter button will actually control this, and basically what it does is it bridges these two connectors that I've put some wires on. I've just connected these wires to basically act as a bridge, so I can test whether this thing will actually fire up. Because as you know, this thing came in a huge crate of parts, and I've never actually heard it even make a sound, so this will be an interesting test. So the plan is I'm going to bridge these connections here, and hopefully the engine does something. I don't really know if it's going to do anything, but let's have a go. So I should just be able to put this one on the negative, and then this one on the positive. Well, that's good. That's really good. I'm happy with that. Cool. Yeah, I just had my multimeter out and I was testing the voltages across these spades. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That's great. Okay, so next I have got these 4 connectors here from the ignition module. So they need to connect to this pin that I put on the other day. So this one comes from the ignition spark timing thing in here. So that comes out here, the wire goes up here, and then what I've done is I've put a new connector on it. Which is one of these guys, one of these automotive weatherproof ones. So I've just got some of the wires which closely match the colours that it should have been. I don't have any double coloured wires. These are the ones that came with the pack. So I am going to use these. I'm going to match these up. These are just been threaded down here into the box, and then this is the rest of it. Obviously I'm going to trim these once I've got the length correct and I've got the connector on the end, but I'm now going to use the other end of the connector, which is this guy. So I'm going to strip these ends off. I'm going to attach these these are, I think, the females for these. The male parts inside here, you can even see those, so they're in there. So yeah, I'm going to get this connector on here, that'll connect up, and then I'll be able to trim these. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into the original connector for the igniter box. Oh, there we go. That's that guy attached. Pretty much straightforward. You put these little, you got these little yellow rubber bungs. They go on the wires first, and then right at the end you sort of stuff them down in there, and that gives it its watertightness. Obviously these two things click together pretty easy. So female end, male end, and then it is just a case of you know, put one in the other. And that's it. I did have to take the tape off because I taped it up before I realised I didn't make a note of what the colours were on this one. So I just had to take the tape off. But what I'm probably going to do is, I do have some, where is it here? I do have some split loom, cloth split loom. So once I've got all the cables, you know, in the right places, I'll tape them all up. I'll put the split loom on and then I'll tape it all up properly. But yeah, currently, that is the spark, I don't know what they're called, ignition timing sensors, whatever they are. Anyway, that's them connected here. Now they are going to go all the way down here into the e-tank, and then they will connect into the igniter box. So now I have to trim these to length, strip the ends off, put new connectors on, and then fit them into the original connector for the igniter box. Just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing with these wires. So I'm using a bit of this fabric tape just to keep them all together. This one is the what is this? This is the one that goes to the igniter box. Yeah, but basically I bought this. It's like a cloth, fire resistant, heat resistant. It's not plastic, I don't think. It's like a cloth wiring loom, split loom. So basically it's not a tube. It's like a curled wrap, which is quite handy. So what I've been doing is, to make these look really nice, is I've just been adding the wrap onto these wires. And basically threading it all the way down and just keeping all these wires inside this loom, and it just makes it look so nice. I did it with the fan cables. They came out really good. So it's a little tricky just because this thing, it just feels super spring loaded. Because obviously it's meant to wrap around and curl around the cables. But yeah, once you get them in, it makes the cable look really nice. Instead of like wrapping it in electrical tape, because as I mentioned, I'm not using any electrical tape on this bike. The amount of tape I had to take off of the wires to begin with was an absolute nightmare. You end up with sort of a cable like this, and then you use the material tape to go around the edge of the character and just sort of marry the two up. And yeah, it looks so much better than just having all your wires bunched up with cable ties or whatever else. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do with all of the cables on the bike. So I think for this one, just not to drag on, I'm going to spare you a lot of the details, mainly because this little piece here, which is just the ground connections to the coil that go back to the igniter box, and this one goes to the M unit. This probably took me like an hour to put together, just trying to figure out the wiring diagram, specifically this bit. So I'm going to spare you the details of how I'm putting these bits together. There's plenty of videos on Motogadgets and stuff, but I'm basically following the wiring diagram that I've got, and then just it's taking forever. So I'm just gonna fast forward through a lot of this and then catch up with you guys at the end. Yeah, so this is the ignition coil connectors. So we've got the grounds, which is, where are they? This one and this one. They go to one side of the coil, and then these two go to the other side of the coil. What I did is I tried to keep the wire colouring the same as what it is on the diagram as much as I can, because the wires that come with the Motogadget unit are all just basic colours. There's no multi-coloured wires. So this original loom was absolutely hacked up to bits. So what I've done is I've just stripped off all the tape, and I'm going to use lengths of the original wire, so that keeps it nice, keeps it uniform to the actual loom diagram that I'm following. And then this is obviously the other side, new connectors inside there, you can kind of see them there. This is the other side of the cables that go into the igniter box, so they just simply fit straight into there. I'm going to wrap all this with some cloth tape, not using any electrical tape on this loom. And then this little spur off of here, it's got the ferrule cramps on the end, that goes into the Motogadget M unit, and then that is pretty much all of the ignition system done. So in theory, I should be able to plug this in. I've just been putting some oil in there. I should be able to plug this in, get an auxiliary fuel tank that I've got, the little one that hangs up here, and in theory I should be able to fire this engine up. That's a little scary. I think I'm going to wait on doing that until I've got the exhaust on and stuff, but yeah, it's getting there. I'm glad I got this bit done, because on the wiring loom this looked just a little complicated, but you know, I just followed it not step by step, there aren't any steps, but you know, circuit by circuit, I guess, and it's coming out all right. I am slightly concerned about how much space I'm going to have in this E-tank, mainly because I've got all the bits in there. Obviously the M unit's not going to sit on the bottom there. It actually fits into some holes that I've put for the regulator rectifier, which goes on there, so they're going to come through here. I've also got some little nylon standoffs, which are going to keep that so it's not being crushed against the edge of this. But other than that, yeah, this is all looking pretty good. Right, update time. So, what have I done? I have now fully wired in, where is it? So this is the what is this? This is the oil pressure switch, which is down here somewhere, down there. That comes up this wire, goes in here. Same with the neutral sensor, that's this one. So this is the neutral sensor ground, and that goes into the, I don't know if you can see it there, the little plug that goes into the actual solenoid. So basically the neutral sensor will act as a ground, and then the blue one here also goes in there, and that sends the start signal from the unit to the solenoid, which then fires the starter. That's all good. This is the one I did the other day for the igniter box, and the other one, the igniter box, is over here, which is this one. That's all plugged in, ready to go. Just leaving that there for now. What am I doing at the minute? So at the minute, what I've also got is, on this diagram, there is a main ground which runs from the battery and then to, you know, various other points, but mainly from the battery to the unit, and then you follow it up here, goes all the way up here, and then front brake switch, haven't done that yet, but I've done this one. This is where it comes up here, goes to the main light, and then it also goes to the light from the high beam and the light which illuminates the speedo. So what I've done is I have taken the original connectors. So this is the connector for the idiot lights. I've put some connectors on the light, which I've now fitted. I really love the look of this one. I'm just not 100% sure about the quality of it. I think the LEDs in here are not very good. This is just a cheap thing I got off eBay, so maybe I'll change it in the future, but I just kind of wanted something on there for now. But anyway, yeah, so that's not a big deal to change, basically because I'm putting these connectors on, so it's just a case of, you know, chopping the wires off and putting new ones on. Not a problem, because I'm doing that loads now. So anyway, this ground where it splits off here is this black one, which goes up here, comes out here, and then I have butt connected in different places and spliced off. I've got these ones ready for this guy. I just haven't done the power yet. The power is the auxiliary power that comes out of this brown one. It goes all the way down here, all the way down here, all the way down here. Same thing. And then it powers this light, it powers this light, powers this light, and also powers the main light. I do have this one. I kind of got it ready, which is here. It's just got a crimp connector on the end. So essentially I'm going to do with this what I did with this main earth bus wire. So that's going to come up and then split off into its different, it's a bit of a mess. It's hard to tell what I'm actually doing, but basically this is the oil pressure light ground, and then this one is the oil pressure light power. That will then go into the brown one. And then what else have we got? This one is this is the illumination light for the speedo. I won't go into every single one of these, it's not that interesting. But essentially what I've done is I've now completed the ground circuit for all these two plugs, and now I'm going to do the power circuit for these two plugs. And then these two are just indicators, so I haven't got any yet, so I'm just leaving them off the side for now. But yeah, I'm going to crack on with this. I haven't really been filming what I've been doing, mainly because I've been trying to concentrate on what I've been doing, and it's quite difficult because I've never done the wiring ever before, and I don't want to mess it up, and it's just easy to concentrate without having to mess about with the camera. So I apologise for not showing all the wiring, but I'm probably not the best person to be showing you how to do wiring. Mainly all I've done so far is just crimping connectors and trimming wires. Following the wiring diagram, making sure I know where stuff goes, and just hoping that it is in the right place. I'm pretty sure it is. I've been testing the lights and stuff with a little 9-volt battery. That seems to illuminate the light, so I know which one's ground, which one's the live. So yeah, I'm pretty certain I know I've got what I've done right so far. Plenty of time to crack on with sort of this mess. But yeah, it's looking good so far. I'm glad I'm not completely lost. Because when you first look at a wiring diagram, it just looks like chaos. So I'm double checking everything I'm doing and pretty much happy with where things are going so far. So I'm going to crack on and then I'll catch up with you in a bit. Right, finally, that is apart from the indicator wires, because I haven't got indicators yet, that is the instrument cluster all wired up. So basically we have this connector which goes to the end of the speedometer. So I've connected up the oil pressure sensor and the temperature sensor and the backlight for the actual speedo. I haven't bothered with the side stand, mainly because I completely forgot about the side stand switch, and it's still really filthy, covered in grime and stuff, and I really can't be bothered to clean it. I'm not going to bother with it, mainly because it's just more wiring and it's not critical, I don't think. So what we've got here is the instrument cluster. This one I actually got a bit confused about, but I actually used ChatGPT to help me with this. So what I did was I gave it numbered positions of the connectors. So, you know, top row 1, 2, 3, bottom row 4, 5, 6. Told it what colours the cables were, and it turns out I had one wired into power when it should have been into ground, and that solved everything. So yeah, that was really handy. I've kind of been using it to help me along when I get stuck or when I don't really understand how a circuit's supposed to function. But yeah, this, apart from, like I say, these indicator wires, which I haven't done yet, that is the lights, the running lights, the warning lights up here, and the instrument cluster all done. So they are going to eventually get hidden up there, all wrapped in Loom wrap. This one sticking out here is the oil pressure, not oil pressure, the oil temperature sensor, which just clicks on the bottom there. I do need to run another ground now, so I'm going to splice into this main ground cable, probably around here somewhere, just so there's not too much overloading on the end. And I need to run a ground to this guy, which is the ground on the thermostat. I need to run a ground to the horn, which I haven't even got yet. And I need to run a ground to the, where is it? It's down here. To the radiator fan switch. So this will be the little switch down here that tells that fan when to spin. And I think that's pretty much all the electronics for the front of the bike done. So I'll just have the rear light to do, which I do have, wherever it is. I bought like a rear light plate holder combo, so that'll be all right. And then obviously the rear indicators. I'm not really sure where I'm going to put those yet. I think I need to get the rear plate installed just so I can see what sort of vision radius I've got. I'm not really sure where I'm going to put them. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how this has all turned out. It took a little bit of time, but I just followed the wiring diagram, well, as much as I could anyway. Some of the things aren't on there that I did actually use, like the thermostat sensor and stuff like that. So, but anyway, pretty happy with how this turned out, and I am going to crack on with the ground for the rest of the stuff. All right, time for a check-in. So where did I get to? Right, I have now, so I've got the wiring, the ground and the live for the horn. This sensor I think I already mentioned about. I was doing the fan, wasn't I? So the fan, the ground connects to, so let me start from the top. The power comes in from the other one, from the M unit, goes into a little connector around here somewhere, just there. Same with the ground. Then it's sheathed inside this. That goes down here, and then the ground connects to the thermo switch sensor thing that goes there, and then the power obviously goes into the fan. So when the sensor trips, the fan starts, causes the coolant. Anyway, that's all linked in. That all goes up through here. This connector's just out of the way at the minute. And then what we've got is the backbone of all of the cabling. So all these connectors, these will be sort of hidden away up here eventually. I've just tied them sort of together out the way. So we've got all these will all get wrapped up together. These will come down here. What I've done is I've trimmed these to length and put the ferrules on the end, so they're ready to go into the M unit. The rectifier is just sat there for the minute because I didn't want it scratching any paint. And I've recently just started putting the rear light on. So I bought a rear light / license plate holder thing. I've just clamped that on there for now so I can get an idea of how long I need the wires to be. I've run out of black ground wire, unfortunately. So I have ordered some, but it's probably not going to be here for a day or two. But basically what I've done is I've sort of I've crimped these, and I've cannibalized a little bit of the original Loom. I've tried to keep the colors as close as possible. So I've crimped those. I'm going to cable tie all that up so it's nice and out of the way. These cables, as well as the ground, they're going to come up along the frame, disappear down into the top of the E-tank, and then fix into the M unit when it's eventually installed just here. So apart from the indicators, that's pretty much everything on the bike ready to be plugged into this guy. Oh, we're almost there. Okay, so I've now wired in the M unit. It was pretty straightforward. So basically all of the buttons, the cables that come from the buttons, they each go into their respective slots. It's labeled on the actual unit what they are. You probably can't read them, but they're just there. And then on this side they're kind of sort of labeled here. So you know, if you've got a button that you want to start the bike, you put that in the start, and then the one that comes out of the start then goes to the start motor, blah blah blah. That one's a little bit more complicated because it involves all the battery and the solenoid and all that. But if you take something like, I don't know, the lights, what I've done is I've wired in lights on and off to be the red one, and then lights output goes to obviously the lights that I wired in earlier. Okay, so first test, does the toggle switch work? Where is it? Here. That's looking good so far. Nothing's on fire, so I'm pretty happy with that. Buttons, they're all lit up, that's nice. What else we got? No lights, obviously, because I haven't turned the lights on. And also they're not even plugged in. Hold please. Okay, let's try it again. I've now plugged everything in, including the speedo, just so we can see what happens with that. Yeah, let's switch this thing on. That looks good. Neutral light is on this time, that's good. Daytime running lights, that's nice. So how did I wire this? So I think the green is the start. This one's lights. This is left turn, right turn. This will be horn, which obviously doesn't do anything in a minute, no horn. This one is lights on. Oh look. I think that's high beam, low beam. Also I could spare up a button there. And then that one, blue one doesn't do anything. So maybe I can just change blue to lights. Red can be something else. I didn't realise I could cycle through high beam and low beam on one button. Oh, lights off if I hold it. Okay. Ah, interesting. Okay, so I'll have to mess about with that. I know I can configure the buttons and stuff in the app. So, oh yeah, oil lights on. Oh, there's something else I want to test. Whether when I turn the lights on here, oh yeah, can you see in there? The illumination comes on inside the speedo. That's nice. Okay, so final test. This isn't, I'm obviously not going to fire this up. If I press the green button, this should trigger the starter motor. Oh yeah, Oh yeah, okay. I'm a bit excited about that. That's good. Oh, I'm really happy with that. I've done the wiring! Oh my god, I was dreading this for so long. Yeah. I've never wired a bike. Wiring looms confuse the hell out of me. Wiring diagrams confuse the hell out of me. But when I saw the M-Unit, and I kind of got a great understanding of how the thing works. Basically, you've got inputs and you've got outputs. Some stuff's configured in the app. I'm really happy with how this has come out. Obviously, I've still got some wiring to do. I've got the rear brake switch down here. I've got the rear light to do. I'm still waiting for the cable to come for that. And then I've got the indicators to do, but that is literally just indicator signal and ground. That's not too much of an issue. It's just a bit of a wiring situation I'll have to work out. Also, I don't know where I'm going to put the indicators on the back because I've got no mounts for them, so I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, it's all looking pretty good. I'm pretty chuffed with that. You know, someone who's done wiring on bikes before will probably look at this and be like, that was a piece of piss. I don't even know what you were worried about. I've never done any wiring like this before, so this is completely new to me. So it's all kind of exciting to get it all going and working properly. So I'm pretty happy with that.